as my guest.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. So let's see. So that we're talking today about relationships, and if you have any questions, just let us know. Put it in the chat room or anything, and we'll try to answer as much as we can. So, Xianli, please tell us a little bit about you and what you do, and then we just get started.
Sure. So my name is Siamli. I'm a hypnotherapist, and I'm specialized with relationship. So basically helping people who are single, but who used to attract this kind of toxic relationship or toxic, partner who seems to all the time attract the wrong kind of partner. And also I'm helping a couple. Sometimes when couple at some point they don't get along together. They still, want to stay together, but it seems that they can't find a way. Like too much fight, argument, stuff like that. So I'm helping people basically, to work on themselves, to find a way to cope with their couple.
Great. So let's start with what would you say is the most common mistake someone does in a relationship or when getting into a relationship?
So I would say like the common mistake that I think all do, it's about putting a lot of expectation on our partner to fulfill our need. For example, I feel that I need more love, so I expect my partner to fulfill all the love that I'm lacking. It can be also, for something more physical, like the finance. I don't have the finance that I want, and I'm expecting, like my partner, to fulfill my expectation. So basically, yeah, I would say that's the biggest mistake that we do.
Yeah. And I don't know, I have something that I have noticed that many people do is that if there's something that they don't like in the other person, that they try to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What would you say about that? I mean,
yeah, it's also like a big mistake that, like I say, expectation is also the expectation that how my partner should be. But we need to understand that when we enter in a relationship, it's about to accept the person for what it is in the present moment. But at the moment that we start to grow in a relationship, at the beginning, everything it's good because actually we accept the person for what it is. When you meet somebody and you decide to enter in the relationship, it's very rare that you start to say, oh, but I don't like the way you are, or do this at the first dates, and that's why it works. But at the moment you start to to have this expectation that, oh, but I think like you should be a little bit more like this or like that, you start to put some pressure on the relationship, and it doesn't work actually, because we need to understand that the only thing that we can change is us. We don't have the power to change people. We can for sure like influence people or kind of inspire people, but you're not here to change the person in front of you and your partner. It never works,
Right. Do you have any, like, if someone is having trouble with its partner because the partner doesn't change?
Okay, yeah.
What advice would you give them?
That's a big question, because there's always two ways. There's the way that you want to commit and you stay with the person, so you need to deal with the way that the person is and accept the fact that we're not growing at the same pace. And sometimes relationship is about that also. It's about like giving the space to the other one to grow and maybe to meet you, at different levels. So sometimes you're growing faster and he will or she will, meet you up, and then can be the opposite. So it's part of the relationship. And I think we need to have tolerance for that. But when sometime for sure you can have this kind of partner that really don't want to change and don't want to admit that something is wrong in their behavior and stuff like that I would say that it's really problematic. So make sure, I think the best advice is like when you go and when you enter in a relationship, that see the kind of partner that is able to, just say sorry for some small thing, or kind of understand that not everything is perfect about themselves. Because the most problematic relationship and the most toxic relationship is always when there's one of the partner or both of the partner that doesn't want to grow, doesn't want to change, doesn't want to admit and do a work on themselves.
Right. So you have mentioned a lot about working on yourself. And do you think it's more important work on yourself or work together? Or, I mean, how would you say you should act on first?
First, I would say it's very important to work on yourself, to understand that we all have a kind of a background about emotion, about the past, what happened, and especially the way, we learn love, the way that we receive love from our parents will determine a lot of things about how we're going to behave in a relationship. Because, our subconscious mind will always deal with what is familiar. So I give an example. Sometimes, it's funny, some people, we don't really understand when sometimes there's violence in the couple, and we why these people, stay together, the person is a victim, but she or he will stay, in the relationship. And it seems weird because on the logical mind, you would say, just leave, it's not for you. But in most of the case, when I have this kind of person who dealing with this kind of issue, abuse, but it can be physical abuse or even emotional abuse, you will see that the people who stay actually, he or she, was used to have this kind of same abuse when they were a child. And because the subconscious is all the time dealing with what is familiar, for the subconscious, you need to understand that he will always be attracted with what is familiar for you. So if you've been used to a kind of situation of kind of behavior in your past, there's a lot of chance. I'm not saying it's 100%, but there's a lot of chance for you to be attracted with this kind of person, even though those person are not good for you.
Yeah.
So that's very important. And at the moment you understand that, you can do the work on you, to reframe the subconscious and to understand that, no, love is not about, being abused physically or emotionally. And then you can change the pattern. And most of the time people say, we attract what we are. And I would say it's completely false. Otherwise, all the nice people would be with nice people and bad people would be with bad people. So it really doesn't make sense. All the time I'm hearing people saying that, and I'm like, no, this is not it. Actually, we are attracted with what is familiar for our mind. So that's what we need to understand. So if you go all the time in a toxic relationship or with some, the same kind of partner all the time, it's because take a step back and try to understand what was my relationship with my father or my mother, my parents, my career. You will have a clue about why today you're still going in the same kind of thing. And that's why it's very important to do the work on yourself.
So if someone is in that kind of relationship and realizes that there's a lot in the background that has happened before, what would you say is the best way to work out?
This thing. Yeah, that's a very good question, because everybody's talking about healing or work on the self, but there's very less information about how to do it, how to deal it properly. And I would say the most important thing that you need to know is emotion, because it's our emotion that will bring you, to have a certain behavior. If you get angry today for certain kind of situation, or if you get sad, or if you get feeling betrayal or all this kind of thing, it's because your subconscious in the brain, there's a neural path that is triggered because of a situation that you've learned, in your past. So in order to change that, you need to reframe the subconscious. So for me, what works the best is to use some technique that touch the subconscious mind. So that's why actually I'm a hypnotherapist, because I feel that this is the most efficient way to do it. But I'm not saying this is the only way. But if you have to deal with emotion, for sure you need to deal with the subconscious. After there's other way to do it. There's more holistic way. You can deal, with shamanism or the kind of stuff that will go into your subconscious. So it works, but not everybody, I would say, is aware or is ready to do this kind of work, because it will trigger your emotions. So you need to face your deepest wound. So it's not something very, it can be scary, you know, because all of a sudden you will feel like a deep emotion. You will start crying, sometimes shouting, you know. It can be very impressive from outside, but you need to understand that it's the only way to release those emotions that is stuck actually in your body. And when you understand that, after, it's like not a big deal. You just like, you know, release it. Okay, you will cry for maybe 20 minutes and 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then after, you know, it's gone. And then after, we can do the work on reframing the mind with new suggestion, with positive suggestion, because we talk a lot about positive affirmation, but what people don't understand is like it doesn't work if you not cleaning, you know, like the past belief.
Right.
That's why most of the people, they're like, oh, I'm listening my affirmation every day, and I'm like, how does it work for you? Like, I don't see result. Yeah, that's normal, because we need first to clean it, then replace and reframe it.
Right. It's kind of like going into a diet when you have eaten a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
you actually need to clean your body first.
Exactly the same. Exactly. That's a really good example.
That's kind of more of my thing.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep a healthy relationship, I mean, if you have a good relationship and if you want to keep it healthy, what would you say would be the best advice?
Yeah, good question. I would say, you know, the most important is, again, about emotion, is to try to understand the emotion of your partner. Instead, you know, most of the time, the mistake is like, we're going to try to argue about what we're feeling. You know, it's like, I'm angry at my partner for a reason. I will try to argue why I'm feeling angry, and you shouldn't have done that, and this and that. But when we go like that, it's like a fight of ego, you know, and it never works. But if you try instead to understand the emotion of your partner, and you try to ask, okay, you did that. Can you explain me what is the emotion that you are feeling right now? Why did you do that? You know, what is the emotion that triggers you to act this way? Then it will change, you know, the energy completely, because then you can release and you can give a voice to the emotion. The moment you give a voice to the emotion is getting calmer, you know. So I would say that's like something very important to do. And when you can understand the emotion of your partner, then you can have a real talk, release the emotion, and then have a real talk, like not with all the anger, all the sadness, all the emotion that's overwhelming.
Do you think that, I mean, if we just make it like most people, but do you think most people, or most people that are in a relationship, that they don't talk enough?
I mean, it can be, for sure, like communication is very important, but again, you have to understand why sometimes people don't want to talk. When they don't want to talk, it's because some kind of emotion are kind of like hold them, you know, to talk. They don't want to open up because they feel, okay, what my partner is going to think about me, or is going to think, or how he's going to judge me, and he's going to push me in some kind of feeling of rejection or anything. So I would say emotion is really the key to understand that in our relationship. If we can like control emotion and not let our emotion control us, then it will help, you know, like the relationship like tremendously.
Yeah. Do you have any tips on how to control your emotions? I mean, I think that often you are like in the moment and you just like, wah!
So that's what I was talking about. At the moment, why your emotion, you start to burst out and all this kind of thing. It's because it's overwhelming, because you didn't let your emotion speak out. You didn't let your emotion flow to your body. So when we do like the therapy, like the hypnotherapy, that's basically how we heal the person. Is like to be able to trigger the emotion, and we give a voice to the emotion, and we let go the emotion, and we understand the emotion, and then we comfort, we we secure the emotion, and then at this moment the emotion will feel like you can think the emotion like a baby, a small baby, who just want to say, I'm here, listen to me, I have something to say, and at this moment then you're able, to calm down this emotion. Other thing which is good for sure is like when you do like physical activities, for sure, like you can be like doing sport and stuff like that, you will use this emotion or this energy inside you. You can release the emotion, the energy through physical activities. So through yoga can be a good way also to let flow, the energy. Anything also, if you dance, like dancing, everything like that, you put something and you just dance crazy, moving, it really like allow the body to make flow the emotion, the energy. And I wanted to say something else that I forgot right now. Okay, come back.
Sure, you tell me.
Oh yeah, it's about meditation, of course, because you need to understand, like when you do meditation, it's about like being in the now. And because you're in the now, the brain, is more focused on what is happening right now. So emotions are less triggered, and it has been proved, they've made some studies on the brain, neuroscience, to show like the brain is reacting differently. And the more you practice meditation, and the more you will be able to control like emotion. So that's very important, yeah.
Do you have any, there are many people that don't do meditation. Do you have any suggestions on how to start
for meditation?
Yeah,
I would say the most efficient thing, it's understanding that it's about your breath. Like when you breathe in, breathe out just calmly, I would say that's already enough. You don't need to go in deep meditation and stuff like that, but if only 5 minutes a day, but doing daily, that's the most important, is to be consistent. Like consistency is really the key. You do 5 minutes, only 5 minutes to 10 minutes of meditation. You just sit any position you want, just feeling comfortable, closing your eyes and just taking a deep breath in with your nose, deep breath out, with the nose, and just focus on the air coming in and coming out. And I would say only that, it will like put you in the moment, in the present, and that's like a big step already.
Yeah, that's great. Tell us a little bit about a therapy. I know there are many people that maybe haven't done hypnosis. I don't really know what it is about. I think there are so many people that kind of find it a bit scary because it's like someone is in control of my mind.
Yeah, that's the idea.
How does it work?
So again, that's completely false. Like nobody's controlling your mind. That's really the idea that we see in the movie, and that's why actually I have like a lot of clients. They come to me, and they're a bit nervous at the beginning because they're like, "How is gonna happen? Am I gonna be aware of what happened?" And you need to understand that hypnosis is completely a natural state of your brain. It's basically, your brain waves that's going down, and you almost asleep, but it's just before, falling asleep. So you're aware of everything that happened. You can talk, you can move, you can do everything. But it's just that because you're going to be so much in a relaxed state, actually it's the sleep of your nervous system. But if you're still awake, you can understand everything that happened. And so because of that, the brain will feel insecurity. He will feel safe, and because he feels safe, he's more open to receive new information. But that's not really possible that because I put you in hypnosis, I can make you, do something that you really don't want to do. That's not possible. When you see that in the show, it's because people, they're open to do what the people ask. But there is always like a kind of trigger point or red alert that if I ask you to do something who will be completely against your value or stuff like that, you will be able to wake up and to stop that. Right. It might take just a few seconds, but you're not going to do something. Nobody's controlling you. That's completely a false idea that we have.
Yeah, I just wanted to put it out there.
No, you're right.
But do you usually, the person that is in the hypnosis, do they remember what
Yeah,
gone through?
yeah. Like for the session, sometimes it's possible that they have a little bit of loss of memories. They're like, oh, I'm not sure exactly about like some moment of the session, but they still have like a clear idea of what happened.
Sense of what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So now we have talked a lot about it. If you're in a relationship,
Mhm.
what would you say if you're single?
Okay.
You usually are. Well, we talked about that. If you're single and you usually attract the
The
bad
wrong
kind of
people.
people,
Mhm.
do you have any advice other than working on yourself first? What
I
should we
mean,
think about when trying to get into a new relationship?
I would say like actually when you're single, that's the best moment for you to work on yourself.
Yeah.
Because before entering, at the moment you start to go in a relationship, it's like the focus going, to the partner and you busy with a lot of things and stuff like that. So actually I would say like if you used to date like the wrong people, then take a break, to do an introspection about yourself, about your life, what is happening in your life, and understand a little bit also the emotion, Because if you go with the partner just because, for example, you feel, the feeling of abandonment, of rejection, and you want, to be with somebody just to not feeling alone, then again it's your wound, it's your emotional wound that push you to go in a relationship. So you're gonna go with the wrong person, it's almost assured. So yeah, I would say that's the best moment to work on yourself. I don't have like a better advice than that, and to avoid actually to go into a relationship if you're not clear with your emotion.
Right. And because there's many times that people that are single that they feel a bit desperate to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
someone, what advice would you give that people?
I mean, or at least try to enter in a relationship with someone, but it's kind of rare, to do that. But that you understand that these people can uplift you and make you grow. But then you need to understand also to not be the toxic person for this person. So sometimes I like, I was saying last time, everybody, want to find the one, but nobody like really think about being the one. Because if you go in a relationship, understand that you need also to be the good person for another person. So if nobody's doing the work, it's gonna be like a mess for sure. You're gonna be two toxic people that enter in a relationship, and it's gonna be a mess. So sometimes I would say like, yeah, we need to understand that to go in a relationship, we need to take care of ourselves and to fulfill as much as possible, because it's not possible to be, complete 100%. That's not the purpose at the end to say, oh, I can fulfill all my need, I don't need nobody. I think also it's a little bit crazy idea. Now you see a lot of people, they're like, oh, I don't need nobody, I work on myself and I'm sufficient. And I would say that's a little bit like a lie or trying to escape the reality. But it's about trying to do the work to optimize, like your need. And then when you meet another person, it's like more flowing, you can have like better relationship with this person because it's two person who understand that, okay, first I'm going to take care of my need. And then when I feel good, actually I have more energy to take care of you. Instead to be like people who lacking of everything and who trying to take the energy of the other one, to fulfill their need. So
Yeah, because I have also noticed when becoming a parent,
Mhm.
that it's very easy to kind of forget about yourself
Yeah, yeah.
and forget about your partner because all the focus is
It's on
basically
the key.
kid
Yeah, yeah.
or kids. Um, what would you say is the best way to like bring to think about yourself and your partner more?
I
Because I
would
think it's so easy to lose
to lose the track.
relationship
Mhm.
with your partner and with yourself, and know where you have each other, because you're all the time thinking about the children
Yeah.
and what you have to do and this whole everyday life.
Mhm. Yeah, I understand. After, I mean, I will give an advice from outside, but it's easy for me because I don't have kids right now. So I don't want to be, the kind of person who say, okay, do that. But, I'm not involved into that. But I've seen like a lot of friends of my client, of my family, and there's a lot of kids around me. So sometimes I see how much time, how much energy it takes to be with the kid. When I have to do it, I can completely understand that you can lose the track. But for me, the best advice, what I would do is to kind of have a schedule to understand that sometimes, we allow, some space for the couple. For example, when it depends how old is the kid, but when the kid sleep and stuff like that, is to say at some time, let's meet together, or find, for one night, sometime like a nanny to keep the kid and give some time for you. It's very important to have some time just as a couple and not be only, the parents of the kids, because you are the parents of the kid, but you also partner and you also, for yourself. So it's finding the balance between taking care of yourself, have some space for yourself, have some space for your couple, and space for the family.
Right. Yeah. I think that's very important. Just like you said, to take the time
Yeah.
to be a couple and take the time for yourself, because I have noticed that there are a lot of people that focus on the children only and kind of lose themselves in a way. And it's much harder to get yourself up again, find yourself and know, okay, where is my place, especially when the children get older.
Yeah.
And to know, okay, what's our relationship today when the children are gone or whatever.
Yeah. No, it's important to find the balance between everything, but because you're still a couple, even though you have a kid, it doesn't mean that the couple is over, and it shouldn't,
Right.
but actually that's true. Like when people have a kid, sometimes that's where, there's a lot of conflict, because people didn't work on themselves before. So when they come to have the kid, everything become even, like stronger, and it's like really hard to handle. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add or tell, or I don't know?
I mean, is there any question that maybe we have, or?
No, not what I can see.
Okay. I can think about, there's this question, which is very funny. It's not funny, but that comes a lot. It's about, this thing of monogamy or polyamory, like saying, okay, what happened? Because, that is a big topic about what happened when, your partner cheat on you or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a big question. And yeah, it's like a lot of people, they think like, okay, if my partner cheat on me, like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed like to just stop the relationship or just go with it or stuff like that, and I will say a big advice that I would say is like, when it happened, we shouldn't like define the fact that it happened and, define the whole relationship. It's about like, okay, if your partner cheated on you, how does it treat you? Like because sometimes it can happen after 10 years, So for 10 years, how was this person? If it was bad, of course, like, it's been a long time that you should have lived. And sometimes, when people cheat on somebody else, it's not necessarily because they don't love the person. Sometimes it can be something else. It's because, they feel that they need like something new, something like, but it's very difficult, and it's like a huge topic. But just to say that, look at the whole relationship. Don't look at only, what is happening, and you shouldn't like define the whole relationship based on one mistake, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would like to say. But I think that it can be like a whole life.
A whole other show.
So maybe one day we can talk about that for a whole life, but just, to give like this thing, because I know I have a lot of question about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But do you think, of what you have seen, usually is it often because, I mean, that someone goes with someone else and cheats? Is it because they are feeling that the relationship that they have now is lost, or is it because they feel that they don't get enough valuation?
Yeah.
Or
That's why it's very tricky, because there is so much different case. We can't say like people cheat only for one reason, because we're all different. And some people, some people, they cheat because they don't feel enough in the relationship. Some people, they cheat when they are happy in the wedding. And that's like very weird. We think like, but you have everything, but still. But when you work with those people, behind the scene, when they can talk to you, when you can really understand what is like the real reason why they do that, it's because sometimes, those people, again, they have a lack of something. And because the lack of something can never be completed from other one, they will try to, find somebody else, and they will never be contented. But there is like this kind of maybe idea that they will, for a period, for some time, like fulfill like this lack of love or attention. So sometimes people are really like happy with their relationship, but still, because inside them they're lacking of something, they will do it. Sometimes it's because actually they should just stop the relationship, but they don't have like the courage, to hurt the other people, or because it involves the family, involve like the tradition, a lot of things. So there's so many reasons for that. It's difficult to say it's only for one reason. Yeah. It's
right.
like a whole topic, a whole life that we can talk about there.
But we could say that most of the problems, I guess you can say, are actually based on yourself. I mean, things that have happened, and because, like you said,
yeah.
And that
I mean, there is at some point, when people cheat, people sometimes they think it's just about, maybe some for the sex or stuff like that, but actually that's not true. It's always for a feeling, a need of connection, something like strong feeling, something different, something new. So like you say, because something is missing within you, you're trying to find it somewhere else again. So for sure, the more I would say like you're able to fulfill yourself, and the less work you're gonna have like in the relationship, and the less you're gonna expect from the outside world. So when you are like that, for sure you will be less, attracted to go into some kind of other relationship. After, it's always, a choice, like some people, they decide, like I was talking about polyamory, they just decide, okay, I know that I'm not going to be contented with one person, and they make the choice that, I don't want to hurt anybody, I want to be clear with this person. And at the moment that everybody's agree, I would say, that's the most important. But what you need to understand is that when you decide to cheat on somebody, there is like a lot of consequence. And consequences, most of the time, it's very difficult, to deal with after. Even though the people will maybe forgive you, but they will never forget. So you really need to be aware of that, that there is a consequence. And
yeah, like you said, this is a whole new topic.
Yeah.
Life. So if we conclude about what we've talked about, we could say that no matter if you are in a relationship or if you aren't, that it's important to work on yourself, and accept the other person as they are, and not trying to change them.
And it's a work together, where I think the most beautiful relationship happen when there is like this kind of understanding. In a relationship, it's impossible to be on the top all the time. We would like, for sure, we would like that, but this is not life. It's like expecting that every day you're going to wake up and be happy every day. No, sadness is part of the life, and actually you can enjoy happiness because you've been through sadness. And it's the same in a relationship. I think if you go, like, I can give an advice for people who go through a hard time, is to understand that it's gonna change. If you work on it, it's gonna change. So keep the faith and keep the hope that if you are really with the person that you love, that you value, trust the person also to do the work, and at some point it will come back. But for sure, the most important is to understand that stop blaming the other. I would say really that's the worst thing that we can do in the couple, is like all the time blaming the other, and all the time thinking, oh, it's your fault, you too much, like that. If the person is like that, there might be also a reason because of you. And the only thing that you can change, again, that's you, that's it.
Yeah.
The person is not doing the job, that's their fault. You can't help it. But then I would say, like, if you want to make it work, it's being with somebody who understands that, and do the work for yourself and together. That's where, like, it works, and accept people for what they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Xiangli, thank you so much
Yeah.
for today.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I don't know if you have any comments later on after the live. Maybe you can comment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for
Try
sure.
to answer.
I can put some link, if some people, want to talk more about it, or if, like, they would like to have a session, or, to work with me, I will give you the link. I will write the link in the comments, and with great pleasure,
Great. Thank you so much for tonight. And I hope this helps someone out there. So yes, thank you again for tonight.
Beautiful. I was happy to share this time with you, and take care.
Great. Thank you. Bye.